and welcome to Morgan, Brayton, and other people. Guys, I did something crazy last night. I talked on the phone. Not only did I talk on the phone, but I talked on the phone for 2 hours. That's right, we were phoning like it's 1999. And I was reminded that not only did this used to be our most favored method of communication, but it used to be our only method of communication. We didn't have texting or instant messaging or email because there used to be a time when we didn't have the internet, which seems crazy to me now. My grandmother died never knowing what the internet was, and my son has never known a world without the internet. And aside from the fact that she would have absolutely killed it at Candy Crush, I sometimes think my grandmother got the better end of the deal. Because, you know, it was kind of nice just talking to somebody last night. I mean, I'm not in any hurry to do it again anytime soon, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of nice. So, put your phones on silent and get ready for some face-to-face time, because today on the show, we're talking about the internet. Ladies.
Hello.
Oh, lovely ladies.
I like that you didn't say, put your phone away, like get ready, you're just put it on silent, like have it close by, just in case.
Let's not get carried away.
No, I like that. I like that.
Absolutely. Welcome, ladies. Hey, cheers.
Cheers. What are we drinking today?
Today's attitude adjuster is taking a little page out of the Snoop D-O double G. A little gin and juice. Cheers.
Cheers, ladies.
So the recipe for today's attitude adjuster is gin and it's juice. Look it up. Google it. So what do you think? Internet, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Has it changed your life? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you tell me all about it?
Everything.
Right.
I love it. I hate it. It has changed my life.
For better, for worse, for all of it.
Well, I don't know about for better.
Says the woman with 1,000 apps.
Yeah, right.
I have all the apps.
You
guys.
do have
It's
all
not
the
an app
apps.
you don't have.
I don't know. Like it's great, but then like things like social media, you spend all day looking at them, and then you're like, oh, I have a lot of imaginary friends, but I'm all alone in my pajamas drinking wine.
Yes.
Is that where you
Internet.
want to be?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's exactly where you want to be. Do you have friends online that you don't see in real life?
Yes, I think we all do.
I call them my parents. How I keep in contact with them.
I have friends on like Facebook and stuff that I've never even met. Just because it's, through comedy or acting or whatever that
Absolutely.
I have no idea, but mutual friends, all right, I guess I'll say yes.
And then so I had that too, like people at a show, they'll add, we seem to suddenly chat, and then the next time I'm in town, we meet, they're like, we just get a drink before the show, and I'm like, yes, and then we're sitting there, and I'm like, I don't like you at all.
And you know everything about me.
Yeah, I'm like, could you just write down what you want to say to me? Because when you say it out loud, I want to punch you in the face.
It's best that you are at home in your pajamas with just the internet and wine.
I know.
Yeah, just keep you away from actual humans.
I like real humans too. Like, you guys are great.
Thank you,
thanks.
Erica. You're okay
Cheers
too.
to that.
Cheers.
Most of you.
Yeah. All right, a minute. Okay. But there is a risk of social isolation. Say that fast 3 times.
No, thank you.
You don't do it then. But can it be a positive thing in terms of connectivity?
Well, I would imagine that you have a great story about connectivity involving social media.
I do, as a matter of fact. Yeah. No, it's true. I found my birth sister via the internet. And I mean, I knew about her for some time, and before the internet was as ubiquitous, actually before Facebook, sort of did a little bit of research and found some people that I thought might be her, but it wasn't until Facebook that I was like, oh, I think that's her. And I actually, this was before everybody shut down, got all privacy crazy and shut down their profiles and everything. So I basically watched this woman for almost 2 years, just everything on her timeline and everything. And I would say to people like, do you think this woman looks like me? And they'd say like, no, I don't think so. Why? And I'd tell them the story, and then they'd be like, oh my God, she totally looks like you. That is totally your sister. Like everybody really wanted to believe it was her. Yeah. And I just, every once in a while I would think, I really hope this is my sister, or else I have crossed the line. You have a major connection. I should not know everything about this woman and her family if she is in no way related to me whatsoever, right? But yeah, it did turn out to be her, and against a lot of the sort of rules of adoption protocol and everything, I contacted her through Facebook and said, gave her all the outs of if she didn't want to talk to me and if she didn't want to have anything to do with me, or if I was wrong, etc. But said, I think you might be my sister, and this is why, etc. And so I said, my wife said, you should, it was like Friday night, she said, you should do it now so she has the weekend to think about it if she has to go back to work on Monday, because it might be a bombshell. And so I did, and then when we talked the next day, after talking for a while, she said, well, I have to work in a couple of hours, so I gotta go. I'm so sorry. But yeah, if it wasn't for Facebook, if it wasn't for the internet, I don't know that I would have found her. It certainly would have been much more difficult, and it wouldn't have just been kind of at the touch of a finger. But that's a whole other complicated thing as well.
I think I speak for everyone when I say I assumed that was going to be a story about you finding a dog.
I also found my dog on the internet. And our first rescue cat. So yeah, the internet is
If I'm
really...
not mistaken, your wife.
And also my wife.
All of your family members.
Wife.
I know, the order of that was a little problematic, wasn't it? Sister, dog, cat, wife.
Hope you're not watching this, Michelle.
She's not.
But do you think there are, I mean, those are big examples, like finding your wife or finding your family members.
I found a great pair of shoes on the internet.
You've done a lot of internet shopping,
I
actually.
love
You do that a
internet
lot.
I don't understand how you do it, because even in a store, I'm like, that's adorable. I would look amazing in that. And I turn and I'm like, not good.
You have to be willing to take a risk, because I have got some things that online it looked terrific, and then a lot of people don't understand what an actual large is. Because I got one dress that I ordered and it came in like a little flat envelope. And I was like, well, what is this curious mystery? And I was like, this, and then I knew it wasn't going to fit. I 100%.
tried it on.
And I still tried it. I was like, well, let's just see. And then it was like my shoulder was stuck, and I had to use the internet to call for help. But if you go to a good site, we'll have like other people that upload pictures of themselves in it, and so like I would, if I put that dress on, be like, hey, this is how it fit me. This is how tall I am. These are my measurements.
Okay.
But shoes, I've had a lot of luck, actually, which is surprising.
And I think you have to be good about, the reason I don't internet shop is because I'm awful at returning things. I will be like, well, if it doesn't fit, I can just send it back, and I'll never send it back, and it'll sit there forever.
I will.
So that's,
and I get it shipped to the US of A, that's America. So it's free returns.
so braggy with the words.
So what I have to do when I go pick up my stuff is go to a gas station, use the bathroom, try it on, and I just ask the fellas if they think it looks good. I keep it.
Okay, but wait a minute. What is the benefit? Because so far you have to drive to another country, be in a stinky ass washroom, putting on new clothes, but you gotta leave the tags on and everything in case you're gonna return it.
Yeah.
Is it that much cheaper, or is it just the thrill of buying
It's
stuff online?
Okay, you get the thrill of originally picking it out and buying it, and then the thrill of it going and picking it up, and then the thrill of it showing up on your credit card statement.
we gotta get you a life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
Oh,
fun.
sweet.
There are other
But
thrills
it's
to be
it's
had.
stuff that is original, like ModCloth, which I
Oh,
love. Right?
I see what
So
you're saying.
love
Okay.
ModCloth.
Like one-of-a-kind
And-
items,
yeah,
right?
One of a kind.
See,
Like me.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that one right where you left it. My thing, just in nothing to do with your internet shopping, but kind of to do with your stalking story. Because it did start out a little bit stalky.
no,
let's be
agreed.
honest.
Fully.
I struggle with the whole stalking exes on the internet. Like, that's what I don't like about it, is that now you can find me in the middle of the night in the dark, like crying to myself because they're happy and they have new relationships or they have new dogs or something. And that's what I don't like about it, is I have too much access to people that I should not have access to anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm
you have
really
no
good.
control? You have no control.
like
so you
I'm
have-
really good about like deleting them right away and like not having them come up on my news feed, but I have zero control over sitting there and looking them up and going through everything and reading, and like it's awful. It's
You have to say something really creepy and offensive to them, so you just get blocked, and then you have no access.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Like, hey, I remember.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do
Okay,
with
we
my
will
time?
advise Robyn on being creepy and offensive, and take a little quick break while we do that, and we'll be right back with more Morgan Brayton and other people. Welcome back to Morgan, Brayton, and Other People. We're talking about the internet today here on the show. Creepy, stalking, I forget what the other word was, but it wasn't good. Those are some of the words that are coming up, mostly that end of the table.
It's not all bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's opened my eyes to a lot of things. Just this morning I read this article from this beautiful trans man. It was a personal essay explaining about how his body transitioned very quickly, but his mind was slower. And that's a perspective I would never have otherwise. And so I feel like it's really opened me up and explored empathy that I wouldn't necessarily have access to, because there's some people that have just like a real courage and skill for sharing things, which they do in a worldwide audience.
Absolutely. I think we think a lot about access to information, right? But that's something else. That's something different that you're talking about, is the access to
Experience.
feelings and
Stories,
experience and that kind
Yeah.
of thing, which can be really beautiful and really not just eye-opening, but heart-opening too. Right?
But I feel like, that's a definite double-edged sword of like, so perhaps, like, I feel like in me, I might possess a small capacity for empathy. And so that is opened up.
Right.
If I had hurt in there, that's also going to be spoken to.
Right.
In that. And if I see people who are living brave, courageous, wonderful lives, and I feel like I am excluded from that, and then you can get into some real garbage.
Well, and that is, of course, the risk, right? And I think if I'm not mistaken, where you're going is things like comments, people commenting on articles and stuff like that, which we've talked about is a nightmare.
Horrible nightmare. Terrible nightmare. But then sometimes comments are really funny too.
Well, they can be, because it just, it brings out the worst in people. And I guess it's the anonymity of
That's
the internet.
it. It's the mask, right? You're behind a keyboard, so you're safe. But
that
you're
mask
not.
is so thin, because you don't know who they are, but they will literally write their pain in the comment. Like, they'll say something like, "How is this fat person engaged and I'm not?"
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, what? That's crazy. Yeah.
Maybe be a little bit more introspective then. Try
But
that.
I think sometimes, because when you see those terrible comments, and their like handle is like, Flapjack 783, you have no idea what kind. But sometimes I read those comments and I'm like, what kind? Like, who are you? What kind of person? So when they have to sign on with their actual Facebook profile, I have gone and I'm like, okay, who are you? And then I look at their Facebook, and now I'm stalking strangers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what is wrong with you? And I like
You
that.
feel like an archaeologist?
I know. I go back and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I see your parents are divorced. Okay. When did that happen? But or racist things that you'll see like on Twitter, like things, and people are getting fired for that now, which is also a double-edged sword, because I feel like we're like judge, jury, and executioner way too quickly.
Yeah.
It's like somebody does something and then
That's
5
changed
minutes
the
later
world.
they've lost everything. And I was like,
Yeah.
is that really what they deserved?
Public
I
shaming.
mean, whoever put that comment
'Cause
on
we've all
my
said
YouTube
something
page,
stupid.
yes.
They deserved it.
But
for
we've all
sure.
said something out loud that was stupid and inappropriate or whatever.
yes.
And just luckily we didn't type it out. But we didn't all lose jobs or our lives or anything from it. It's just now in this day and age when, unfortunately, especially with the younger generation, they just do it without thinking.
Yeah.
Because that's how they live, that's how they know the world. And then all the repercussions come down the road. And even people, like we were talking about it earlier, people that did things years ago and posted them without knowing what social media was going to come to, is now paying the consequences for that. And it's just,
Well, it's because it's forever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
go
Go
away.
away.
And I've had that happen, for me, I don't care, right? It really doesn't impact my life. But I had I spoke at this event that was about GLBT experiences and talking to school. And then this nut job wrote an article in the paper about how inappropriate this, that we were all sort of recruiting, basically, and cited this article that I had written years before about going to a sex party in San Francisco. And it was like, oh, really? We're sending people that go to sex parties to talk to kids? And it was like, if you'd read the article, you'd know how very uncomfortable I was at that party. How totally awkward it was for me. Obviously you didn't read it, right? But that can come back, and people can use stuff against you. And like I said, I don't care. I'm talking about it on a TV show now. It's not an issue for me. But Everything is up there. And we made mistakes when we were teenagers that, it's like you tell your friends, everybody's like, oh, you're an idiot for a few weeks, and then it's over. But on the internet, it's there
never
forever,
over.
and it doesn't
My
go
brother
away.
my brother is an actor, and he posted a joke photo of him and his friends doing what they called a Keith Richards shot, and it was 2 lines of sugar and a shot of Jameson.
Oh no.
And like his agent saw it and like went nuts. Like everybody went crazy. They were like, remove it, get rid of it.
Because Jameson is like the worst, right?
Sugar and Jameson will
What were they
they'll fuck
thinking?
you up. Yeah. And it like they went nuts about it. And knowing them, of course, we all knew it was funny and it was a joke.
right.
But anybody that doesn't know them
Yeah.
can be like, oh, we don't want to hire that kid because he's got a coke problem. And it's just
So there's a question: Is that okay? Like, is that fair? Right? Because it happens now. I know from job interviews that I've had, or when I've been on the other side of the table, you do, right? Like even when I'm looking for an apartment, I will like reverse Google search the phone number to find that person. Like again with the stalking. But I want to find out everything I can, and if you have a Facebook page or whatever, if I'm going to hire you, I want to know, and I want to Google you and find out who you are, because most of us have stuff online. But in terms of jobs and things like that, do we think that's okay?
Yeah. In this day and age, it is.
It's just
right?
a
I
part
think so
of
too.
life
I think
now.
it's and not even your actions, but your ability to judge what should be public
Right.
and what should be private
Yeah,
is
exactly.
pertinent to certain jobs for sure.
Yeah.
And like
I
I
agree.
see stuff that like my 22-year-old niece posts, and I'm like, and everything inside me wants to call her and go, "Are you insane? Like, why are you putting that on the internet?" And then I'm like, "No, because I'm gonna be like, you just don't understand." So I'm like, "Okay, fine. Don't ever get a job." I'm pretty
I
harsh.
don't know what makes you a better aunt.
You said something, Morgan, recently when you were talking about that woman, and obviously she didn't read the article, and that's a huge part of the internet too. It's like nobody is reading
Nobody's
the article.
reading
Everyone
anything.
pretends to be so well read, but all they read is the articles and the picture.
Or not
Yeah,
even
just
the
the
headline.
Or just the headline.
How many times
you're
has somebody gone off on a headline? It's like, whoa, now we're this and that. It's like, well, that's not what the
Gross.
article's about at all. Clearly, you didn't read it. You
But
just
then
took
there's the
yourself to
flip
be an
side of
idiot.
that is sometimes those articles aren't real things.
They're parody
They're
articles.
just made up,
Yeah,
or they're
exactly.
just complete bullshit. And like nothing. What's real and what isn't anymore?
Yeah.
Can I just say that I hate when people write open letters too? This is, and especially it is all over the
love
place.
open
I hate
letters.
open
I
letters.
hate open letters.
Especially when it's like, I've seen a bunch of these, it's like an open letter to the boy who helped my child skateboard. And it's like, why didn't you just go over and say thanks for helping them skateboard? Instead, you're like, I can't wait to go home and write an article. And an open letter makes it sound so like I'm really doing something. And I'm like, just shut up.
No,
I like
because
it.
then it
You
goes
don't-
back to what Katie was talking about empathy and opening our hearts and exposing us to.
But so is
experiences
doing
and
things in
emotions.
real life. If
Is it
I
doing
witnessed
that?
Yeah.
a mother go over to somebody, a teenager, and go, hey, thanks so much for that. That was really great. And there was a moment there as a human being experience. I don't want to just experience a bunch of people out there that are like, I can't wait to go write an open letter. Don't do it.
I don't think that's what
I
anybody
hate it.
says. I don't think anybody's like, oh, this is going to make a great open
Oh, they
letter.
do.
Oh, for sure.
Bloggers,
That's why they do
that's
it.
what they
for
do.
the
Okay.
attention.
I do sometimes think, oh, I'm going to write about this. Sure, but it's not like I could go have a connection with this person, or I could go home and write about it. Those are not the choices.
I think some of those bloggers make it up. I'm like, there was no skateboarding.
That's
kid.
probably true.
Yeah.
Stuff on the internet's not real?
Yeah, they make it up.
What about that?
Okay, we're gonna take a break and explain the internet to Katie Ellen. When we come back, maybe she can join in the conversation in a more educated way. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Morgan, Brayton, and Other People. We're talking about the internet today, which we have now explained to Katie, so she's totally on board. I wanted to point out one of the things that I think is really important about the internet. We talked about the sort of sharing of experiences and sharing of information, but I remember, even in the early 90s when there wasn't the same access as there is now, that like zines would be a really big deal because you could order a zine. Okay, we'll take a break and I'll explain it.
Oh,
You don't know what zines are?
There you go. Okay, take it away, Fatima.
They're like little mini books filled with all kinds of things.
And they're usually like I could make a zine, or you
Yeah,
could make a zine,
anybody can
right?
make a
And a
zine.
lot of people, it was a big part of the Riot Girl movement and punk and stuff like that, right? And so I remember in the early 90s that people would mail zines, and you could order zines from if you lived in a super tiny small town, you could order a zine about being queer or like queer punk stuff or whatever, and that was your exposure to a world that was nowhere near you in your small town where you didn't know anybody else who was queer and you just wanted to kill yourself all the time because you felt so isolated. Now, you can just, on your phone, you can go on and have access to that. And it doesn't mean that that's not complicated and all that kind of stuff, but I think there's something about that kind of ability to go, there are other people, whether it's you're queer or trans or whatever, whether you're an adult or a teen, we still know that the suicide rates for teens in the LGBT community are off the charts. The ability to be able to reach out to somebody or read about somebody and go, I might not be alone, I might be able to get through this, is like, that's worth it.
There's an instant community for you now if you have access to the internet.
We have other groups of people, such as Anonymous, literally uncloaking some of these creepy people. So what do we think about that?
I like it, and I'm also...
They're like vigilantes.
What if they ever just like go after people that didn't pay back their student loans?
Well, I feel like a lot of people would be under that bus.
My name would just be one of many. I'm just kidding, I didn't go to college.
Sweetie, we know. You're a comedian. We know.
I'm safe.
You're probably okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like to do but have the very hardest time doing is unplugging. Is taking it like
difficult.
The Cecil the Lion thing is the last time I did it. I had to shut down the Facebook because I couldn't handle it anymore. People getting mad about like, oh, who cares? It's a lion. I was like, oh, I'll just close this down for like a week or so until I can stop crying. So I have to take a little break from social media every once in a while. And if I go on holiday or go to the States somewhere where it's way too expensive to have my phone with me, right? Then I don't, and I lose my mind for about the first 9.5 hours. I'm just like, but then after that, it feels very freeing.
Relax.
I'm like, oh yeah, I also do things with my life. Do you unplug me?
Yes, sometimes I do.
You do
Robyn?
sometimes, and it's annoying when you don't let people know you're unplugging, because I'll be like, go to post something on your Facebook, and then I'm texting Morgan.
You're the worst. You're always doing that. You go on and on.
Yeah, you just willy
But
nilly do it.
this is the problem. Is I used to put a little post that says like I'm gonna shut this down, but then we're crazy, us shutter downers.
That we care.
And then it's like, why do you care? And then I'm like, well, because people think I've blocked them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I met a guy yesterday.
I know, weirdo.
I met a guy yesterday. Well, she's got this.
We know that.
I met a guy yesterday who had a flip phone. And I said, oh my God, does that even still work in this?
Was he
and
70
he had
years
just
old?
gotten it. No, he's probably in his 20s. He had just gotten it. And he goes, I don't want to be available to anybody that I don't need to be available until I want it. He goes, I don't need to be on Facebook all the time. I don't need people to send me an email when I'm not at work. But he was like, and he was a young guy with
I love that.
And I was like, so wait, do you actually use your computer at home? He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, I can't think of the last time I signed my computer on because everything is on my phone.
Yep.
Everything. I cannot think of the last time I turned my computer on.
Really?
No, I swear to God.
Are you doing no writing? Nothing?
I write on my phone, and I write a handwrite because I'm a lady.
When my best friend, he got when iPhone first came to Canada, he was the first person I know that got it, and he's an actor, and he used to go out to auditions all the time, and I worked from home, and he would leave his apartment, and then inevitably, every time phone me and get me to look some directions up because he had messed it up.
Right.
And then he got this phone, and I was so jealous of this phone. Not that he had one, but that
he didn't need you anymore.
That he had replaced me, and because he also loved this phone so much, and he talked about it and how amazing it was, and he was like, everyone's gonna have one, and I was like, no, they're not.
Everyone needs me.
Katie, you know what? I thought that the whole CD thing was gonna blow over, and we were all gonna go back to cassette tapes. So I feel ya. All right.
Time's gonna tell on that one.
Yeah.
Everything
It's not
comes
too
back.
late. It's not too late. It's the really good. Yeah, and you can play it on repeat, and you can just listen to it all day long.
You rewind it with a pencil.
Remember making mixtapes off the radio with the the button? Oh, that was so fun. Anyways, now we're sounding super old.
Yeah, we should stop. Oh, God.
Time to wrap it up.
We do actually have to wrap it up. That is all the time that we have today. Thanks for joining us here on Morgan Brayton and other people. Go on the internet and contact us, tweet at us, do something like that, and tell us how much you like us. And we'll see you next time here on Out TV, Morgan Brayton and other people.
Yay, that's us. I love the flip phone. I've actually thought I want to try to go.
I'm not
That's
gonna.
the only part I
for like a month
this
trying it. I bet